Hello everyone. First of all, I would like to thank all the viewers for attending this seminar. My name is Vansika Singh and I am a cybersecurity enthusiast. My interest areas are cybersecurity, ethical hacking, penetration testing, and vulnerability management. I am pursuing BTech from Computer Science from Bennett University. Bennett University was established by Times Group of India in 2016. Located in Greater Noida, it is a private research educational university that offers a wide range of courses in the field of engineering, arts, law, mass communication, and management. Today, cyber attacks are no longer stopped by antivirus softwares or firewalls. The risk of cyber attacks is constantly increasing, and for companies and institutions, it is no longer a question of if it will happen, but rather when. This is why cybersecurity is of such great importance. In today's seminar, we will be talking about multiple cyber attacks, the basis of ethical hacking, the importance of ethical hacking. We will also talk about the world's most wanted hacker ever. I will be showing a demo of ethical hacking, and lastly, I would be giving some essential tips and habits that can be followed to keep yourselves safe in the cyberspace. So without further ado, let's get started. So before we get into the theoretical part of the video, I would like to give you a preview of the world of hacking, cybercrime, ethical hacking, and how has it always been around us. WannaCry is a ransomware. This worldwide attack plagued the world during May 2017 and is known to be one of the worst cyber attacks in the history of cybercrime. This hacking tool was developed by United States National Security Agency for older Windows system. It was stolen and leaked by a group called the Shadow Brokers at least a year prior to the attack. It is known to be one of the most widespread pieces of malware. It impacted over 150 countries and affected almost 23 lakh computers. The WannaCry ransomware epidemic of 2017 disrupted hospitals, banks, and communication companies worldwide. This ransomware encrypted the user's valuable files and locked them out of their computer and demanded up to $300 for each computer. The total cost of the 2017 WannaCry ransomware has been estimated to be about $4 billion. Coming to data breaches, one of the most recent data breach was in July 2021, where data associated with 700 million LinkedIn users was posted for sale in a dark web forum. The hackers published a sample containing 1 million records to confirm the legitimacy of the breach. The data included the following: email addresses, full names, phone numbers, geolocation records. The hackers scraped the data using a LinkedIn's API. Now, after being provided with so much insight regarding the world's most worst cyber crimes, I know that the word hacker and hacking has already had a terribly bad impact on you, and that's understandable. But there's a phrase known as ethical hacker. Now, these two terms are quite contradictory. How can hacking be ethical? Well, almost every day we receive news about hacking attacks and the hackers, but there's no news about the people who actually stopped the attack and saved the day. These people are known as ethical hackers. Ethical hackers use their knowledge to secure and improve the technology of organizations. They provide essential service to these organizations by looking for vulnerabilities and bugs that can lead to cyber attacks. An ethical hacker reports the identified vulnerabilities to the organizations. Now, what exactly do ethical hackers do? While assessing the security of an organization, ethical hackers aim to mimic an attacker. In doing so, they look for attack vectors against the target. Once the ethical hacker gathers enough information, they use it to look for vulnerabilities against the asset. They perform this assessment with a combination of automated and manual testing. They don't stop at uncovering vulnerabilities. Ethical hackers use exploits against the vulnerabilities to prove how a malicious attacker could exploit it. Now, let's talk about types of hackers. There are mainly three types of hackers: black hat hackers, white hat hackers, and grey hat hackers. A black hat hacker is a hacker who violates computer security for their own personal profit or out of malice. They may also release malware that destroys files, holds computer hostage, or steals passwords, credit card numbers, or any other personal information. A white hat hacker or an ethical hacker is an individual who uses hacking skills to identify security vulnerabilities in hardware, software, or networks. White hat hackers only seek vulnerabilities or exploits when they are legally permitted to do so. Grey hat is a computer hacker or a computer security expert who may sometimes violate laws or typical ethical standards, but usually does not have the malicious intent of a typical black hat hacker. Some of the most common vulnerabilities discovered by ethical hackers include injection attacks, broken authentication, security misconfigurations, sensitive data exposure. Now let's talk about world's most wanted hacker, Kevin Mitnick. He was known to be cybersecurity's greatest showman on earth. On February 15, 1995, the FBI managed to hunt down Kevin Mitnick, considered by the New York Times as the most wanted hacker in cyberspace. Mitnick would end up spending 5 years in prison for various crimes, including 8 months in an isolation cell. Now you must be thinking, why so much time in isolation? Because someone convinced the judge that he was capable of initiating a nuclear war by whistling on a public telephone. That's how horrified everyone was from him. He experimented with hacking since he was 12 and hacked into a computer system for the first time at 16. He was jailed for hacking into DEC's computer network. During his supervised release, he hacked into the voicemail system of Pacific Bell. An arrest warrant was issued against him, and he spent the next 3 years as a fugitive. He was eventually arrested on February 15, 1995 and convicted of multiple counts of wire fraud, possession of unauthorized access devices, and other cybercrimes. At the end of his supervised release in 2003, he focused on ethical hacking and providing cybersecurity solutions to the corporates and the government. He established a consulting company called Mitnick Security Consulting and IT training company BE4. Now let's talk about the threats that we face. In the dawn of international conflicts, terrorist organizations funding cybercriminals to breach security systems, either to compromise national security features or to extort huge amounts by injecting malware and denying access. Resulting in steady rise of cybercrime, organizations face the challenge of updating hack-preventing tactics, installing several technologies to protect the system before falling victim to the hacker. New worms, malware, viruses, and ransomware are primary benefits that are multiplying every day and creating a need for ethical hacking services to safeguard networks of businesses, government agencies, or defense. An ethical hacker should have a wide range of computer skills. They often specialize, becoming subject matter experts on a particular area within ethical hacking domain. All ethical hackers should have expertise in scripting languages, proficiency in operating systems, a thorough knowledge of networking, and a solid foundations in principle of information security. Some of the most well-known and acquired certifications include EC Council, Certified Ethical Hacking, Offensive Security Certified Professional, CompTIA, SAN-GIAC. Now, I would like to educate you on some cyber attacks while addressing our current situation in terms of cyber war. Do you know that this prediction that the World War III is actually going to be a cyber war was made years and years ago before it actually happened? Well, now it is actually happening. If you follow the news, then you might have seen headlines like, now, for those who do not know what's going on, amid the war in Ukraine, the hacker group Anonymous has declared a cyber war against Russia. The group has announced that it is supporting Ukraine. While describing this whole situation, I will be explaining multiple hacking attacks that are taking place in this war. Now, how did this cyber war actually start? The cyber attack from the hacker group Anonymous came a day after a new Data Viper malware was found in circulation in Ukraine. Now, what is a malware? A malware is an intrusive software that is designed to damage and destroy computers and computer systems. Malware can also be known as malicious software. Now, what does this malware that Russia had deployed really do? This is a dangerous Viper malware that can erase all the data from the system it has infected. The thing that makes this Viper malware so dangerous is that the data, once deleted, can never be recovered. The malware can even attack the system recovery tools without leaving any traces of the attack. The goal of Anonymous, according to international media, is to deactivate several Russian government websites. RT.com, a Russian state-controlled international television network, was also targeted by the gang. According to sources, RD.com and a number of websites were targeted in a broad denial of service attack. Now, what is a distributed denial of service attack? A distributed denial of service attack is a malicious attempt to disrupt the normal traffic of a targeted server, service, or network by overwhelming the target or its surrounding infrastructure with a flood of internet traffic. Network resources such as web servers have a finite limit to the number of requests they can handle simultaneously. Whenever the number of requests exceeds the capacity limits of the component of the infrastructure, the level of service is likely to suffer in one of the following ways. The response to requests will be much slower than normal. Some or all user requests may be totally ignored. This is how websites are taken down in DDoS attacks. There are numerous attacks that take place every day in the cyberspace. In ethical hacking, we learn about all types of worms, botnets, Trojans, viruses, ransomware, spywares, backdoors, and many more types of malicious malwares that are deployed in cyber attacks. There are many types of cyber attacks like phishing, password attacks, man-in-the-middle attacks, cross-site scripting, and many more. In ethical hacking, we learn how to actually conduct these attacks in order to understand how the hackers carry out these attacks, so that we can come up with solutions and appropriate security measures to protect these organizations from attacks. These attacks and the methodology behind them is important to understand so that the loopholes in our systems and networks can be detected way before any attackers finds a way to exploit them. These are the skills that are actually applied when an organization has been attacked and needs to be secured, and the attack needs to be stopped. In the cybersecurity department of an organization, there's a team responsible for penetration testing. Penetration testing is also known as pen testing. It is a cybersecurity process that helps you stay ahead of hackers. Penetration testing is also known as ethical hacking. It describes the intentional launching of cyber attacks that seek out exploitable vulnerabilities in a computer system, networks, websites, or applications. The purpose of penetration testing is to help organizations find out where they are most likely to face an attack and proactively fix those weaknesses before exploitation by the hackers. Once the vulnerabilities are discovered and exploited, the client is provided with a detailed penetration testing report containing the information about the scope of the tests, the vulnerability found, the severity, and the suggestions to patch them up. Now, I would like to demonstrate a tool that is usually used in hacking. Wireshark is a free and open source packet analyzer. It is used for network troubleshooting, analysis, software and communications protocol development, and education. I would like to demonstrate a little password stealing attack. Whenever we are on the internet, we access multiple websites. You might have noticed that on some websites, we see this particular warning called not secure. There are many consequences that an individual can face if we use these sites without proper knowledge of the damage these websites are capable of causing. We should never enter any personal information, passwords, or phone numbers, or even our email addresses on sites like these. Now, I am going to demonstrate how easy it is to steal your password if you log into an insecure website. Let's start our tool by setting it to capture mode, and now it's going to start capturing all the traffic on this particular network. Now, I would like to try to log in on this website. I'm putting my username as admin and my password as 12345, and I'm going to press the login button now. We can see that the request has been processed. Let's go back to Wireshark and stop the capture. It can be seen that there is tons of traffic from many different protocols. Now, after applying the HTTP filter, you can see that all the packets with the HTTP protocol are visible. Now, by double-clicking on this packet, we are able to see tons of information about the device that was used to send it, the MAC address, the IP address, and the exact device model that was used. There's always going to be a hexadecimal dump at the bottom, and then also the ASCII translation of it. And scrolling down over here, we can easily find the username and the password that was used. This attack that I just conducted is known as password sniffing or password crack. Now, if you're wondering if you have ever been hacked or your phone number or email address has ever been in a data breach, there is a very interesting website known as Have I Been Pawned, where you can Enter your phone number or email address to check if you have ever been a victim in a data breach. You can also check out stats about some of the most largest data breaches ever. Lastly, I would like to talk about 8 habits that you can inculcate in your daily life to stay cyber safe. As we grow more dependent upon technology, we need to develop better online security defenses. Always think twice before clicking on any links or opening any attachments. Even if an email looks like it's from someone you know, take that extra second to avoid walking into a dangerous digital situation. Verify requests for private information. Whenever you are requested to provide private information, verify the identity of the requester. Even if it appears to be somebody you know, con artists are very clever in how they collect information and steal information and identities. Even if you think you're safe, regularly check your financial statements and credit reports. Protect your passwords. Never reveal your passwords to anyone. Make them long, strong, unique, and use multi-factor authentication wherever possible. Use different passwords for different accounts. Use different passwords for work and home. Don't let apps and websites remember your passwords. Protect your belongings. Whenever you're at work, lock your computer screen before leaving your desk. Take your phone and other portable items with you. Keep your device, browsers, and apps up to date. At home, automate the software updates and periodically restart your devices to ensure all the updates are fully installed. Backup your critical files. Always store backups in a physically separate location from the originals and periodically test them. For personal files, save a backup on a separate drive, for example, cloud or encrypted USB, to securely store it. Delete sensitive information when it's no longer needed. Do not wait for it to get exploited. If it's suspicious, report it. Learn how to recognize suspicious scams and other suspicious activities. Cybersecurity is important because it encompasses everything that relates to protecting our data from cyber attackers who want to steal this information and use it to cause harm. This sensitive data is governmental, industrial information, personal information, and personally identifiable information, intellectual property, and protected healthcare information. Having advanced cyber defense programs and mechanisms in place to protect this data is crucial and in everyone's interest. Everyone in the society relies on critical infrastructure such as hospitals and other healthcare institutions, financial service programs, and power plants. We need these to keep our society running. We all rely on safety of our data and personal information. For example, when logging into an application or filling in more sensitive data into digital healthcare systems, if these systems, networks, and infrastructures do not have right protection in place, our data might fall into the wrong hands. Thank you so much for watching this seminar. Always remember, be aware, be safe.